Magandang umaga sa inyo lahat. Happy Fiesta to San Juan City. It's Wata Wata Day today. I'm former Secretary Edwin Lacierda from Pinoy's Administration.
Magandang umaga! Non-working public holiday din po ngayon dahil araw ng Maynila sa mga taga-Manileños. I'm former Secretary Relly Fajardo from President Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo's administration. And we are the Spokes.
From the panels then to our group chats now.
We'll give you perspectives from an insider's position standing behind the podium.
Dos, nakabukas yung dos. Bukas yung dos, bukas. And noted by the spokes, President Marcos is open to lowering criminal liability age to 12.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm happy na, alam mo, natutuwa ka na magkasama tayo ulit. Na-miss kita, Sec Edwin.
Sandali. Talking about the San Juan Fiesta.
Yes.
No? Anong paboritong inumin ni Bruce Lee?
Hindi, drunk ba siya lagi? So, alak?
Hindi. Si Rit?
Wata!
Wata-wata day today.
Kaya namimiss ko to si Sec Edwin eh.
But anyway, so,
yes.
Sabi ni Yusek Clear na there no discussion
They're open.
yet, but they found it to be reasonable. But that's something that we can discuss later. Kasi medyo masalimuot yung discussion na yun.
This has been an issue for a long time, Sec Edwin. No? Parang sa akin, every time na may mangyayaring mga tragedies such as what happened in the Tacloban incident, no, this will come out. And pero sa akin, we have to look at the deeper the deeper reason why these things happen, 'di ba? Maraming factors, of course, no.
Right.
Pero hindi lang kasi yung age ng mga bata, 'di ba? Ang kailangan siguro ang mas makita natin meron bang ginawa tayong parang review, national review in the past, a comprehensive review of why these things happens? Like, for example, yung mga youth violence, yung mga mental health issues,
yung
bullying,
right.
yung mga ganon. So, kasi hindi na to bago, di ba? Marami ng mga nangyari in the past. Of course, the shooting incident is really, but we should not treat this as an isolated case, I think. No?
You know, there's an idea of lowering to 12, but Senator Robin Padilla even wants to lower it down to the age of 10. So it's kind of medyo... Yeah. But these are all solutions that only talk about punishment, not prevention.
Yeah, and the rehabilitation
correct.
afterwards.
So the factors that you're saying speak about how do we prevent another situation like this. They're lowering the criminal liability, but that's a consequence. That's for purposes of punishment. But the bigger issue is how do we prevent something like this?
Yeah, and these are still children, diba? We don't want them to be treated as criminals, an adult seems like an adult criminals. We want them to have a better future ahead of them, so we want to have a rehabilitation that is effective and to transform them. What are the issues behind all of these things happening to these children? Diba? Their parents, poverty perhaps. Itong mga batang to, most likely they are also victims. Under own ways. Kaya that led them to this incident.
We don't want to denigrate the loss of the 3 lives. So they're just, the thing is, we want to prevent another situation to a situation like this. No? So that's why we offer our condolences to the families that were left behind by the 3 victims.
It's heartbreaking, Sec Edwin, after the Ateneo incident. Now comes this Tacloban shooting. Nakakalungkot na mga biktima, nakakaiyak yung mga story ng mga bata. And I think bottom line is, how do we prevent this from happening again in the future? Let's not just look at the age. Kasi nakita ko nga, wala talagang global consensus when it comes to the age. Sa Singapore pala 10, England and Wales 10 din. Australia generally 10 pero varies by jurisdiction. Germany 14, Japan 14. So sa atin nga it's 15, then we want to lower to 12 or to 10, no? Again, yung bottom line natin, ano ba yung objective natin, 'di ba, Sec Edwin, in doing this, at lowering the age.
And maganda ang discussion natin mamaya on this topic. So we can discuss that more extensively.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So also noted by the spokes from the Ateneo, joining incident to the Tacloban shooting, multiple government agencies have launched their own investigations. Well, again, with the similar to the Tacloban, I just don't want the government to be reactionary against Sec Edwin.
Right.
Now, what I am really looking at is that hopefully, kasi iba-iba naman ang functions ng mga government agencies natin na to, PNP, investigation, no, DepEd can look at how the institutions can be reformed, like but at the same time, baka magkaroon ng mga repetitive, na redundant na mga...
Ang problem, you're correct, really, no? The problem is you've got so many agencies doing all these investigations. For what end? So, will each agency arrive at a different result? Parang, can we just, it's so heartbreaking to all these people and all the family members of those left behind to be asked to attend to each and every agency's hearing. Can we not just have, parang, I felt like, parang, everybody's trying to grab credit. Can we just have one table where all the agencies are gathered together and summon all the witnesses, all the players? Imagine mo that the tragedy that has occurred, and all the players who themselves are wondering, am I a witness? Am I a suspect? And then you have to attend each and every agency's subpoena. Pwede bang isang table na lang yan, mag-task force na lang ang gobyerno para lahat yan magsama-sama? Para yung isang tanungan na lang, para huwag na pahirapan pa yung mga nag-a-attend ng mga hearings. Sobrang, it's such a duplication of efforts and the resources spent on this. DOJ and NBI are under one. Si CHED pa, DepEd, they're related agencies. At may CIDG ka pa. So parang ang gulo nito, pwede bang isang table na lang kayo, mag-task force na lang kayo kung pwede?
Well, actually, pagka may mga ganitong tragedy that captures national attention, yan ang tendency ng government to rush into investigation so that they will come up with something. No? Right. Because there's public pressure. Because we're looking for answers. We were looking for somebody who's accountable. No? And kaya lang, again, it might be reactionary. Di ba? Ang ako gusto ko makita, what happened in the past? Kasi may mga bullying incident in the past, di ba? Ay, ano ba yung mga nangyari dun sa mga, mayroon ba tayong mga reforms na ginawa, na mga measures that could have avoided this? Right. This could be preventable, di ba, Sec Edwin? So, I wanted to know what happened in the previous investigations ng mga government agencies natin. Kasi, parang ang nangyayari kasi, after mga ganitong mga controversies na nagiging very popular, nagka-catch ng national attention, nagiging media frenzy. Pero pag nag-die down na yung issue, wala na rin nangyayari, hindi na natin alam what happened afterwards. So, we really want transparency and accountability. Pero kung magkakanya-kanya nga sila, magkakaroon ng fatigue sa mga witnesses, diba? And again, yung mga resources ng government agencies natin, we really have to come up with a long-term strategy on how we do things, when these incidents happen, yung mga ganitong klaseng tragedies natin.
Let's just stop wasting government resources. In any event, yung resulta naman yan, magiging common lang naman yan. So why don't we just have one table and a major policy and major investigations like this? But anyway, these are the headlines noted by the spokes. Up next is a discussion on the effects of social media, online games, and red flag sites that our children are exposed to when the spokes return after this short break. And the spokes is back. Following the initial findings that one of the minor suspects in the Tacloban shooting was an active player of the online game GoreBox, CICC has temporarily blocked the game.
But is the issue really about just one game? Or is there a larger problem involving the online environment? Our children are exposed to every day. To help us understand the issue, we have with us former DICT Undersecretary Jeffrey Ian Dy. Good morning, Yusek.
Good morning,
happy to have you again at the Spokes.
Good morning.
And
also joining the discussion is psychologist Professor Justine Ray Chavez.
Good morning.
Morning, Prof.
Really
thank
nice
you
here.
for joining us.
Yes po, maraming salamat po.
By the way, just to today is also the 5th death anniversary of Pinoy.
Oh,
So that's why I'm going to Mass Memorial Mas mamaya. So anyway, so Jeff, your thoughts on the temporary ban of GoreBox. By the way, this DICT has the habit of threatening to ban or blocking, but let's just focus. I've seen a lot of commentaries on the wisdom of blocking. But this time around, is it also correct to ban GoreBox?
Or hindi ba knee-jerk reaction na naman?
Well, I think it's a knee-jerk reaction. But I can understand where they're coming from. Number one, siguro, general comments, no, Sec Edwin. Number one, I don't think there is a law that allows them to just unilaterally block a particular platform from the Philippines.
I mean, they're not
a law?
empowered.
They're not empowered. There's no
They're
law.
not empowered.
There is no
Okay.
law regarding that. Especially because there is no established crime yet on the part of GoreBox, no. But also as a parent, I have 3 kids. I understand where they're coming from. Kasi GoreBox kasi is imagine a Minecraft or a Roblox community, but it's different. Its main objective really is to allow people to simulate killing. Yun nga lang, hindi sila mukhang tao, nakabox yung mga mukha nila.
Pero sandali.
But it's still very violent.
It's very violent.
We have in the US and in the EU, there are ESU ratings. May ratings yan eh.
It is R18 game.
It's R18 here. So, but...
No, it's not here.
In there.
In there.
Dito, walang ratings.
We don't have a censorship law also on, I'm sorry for the term, baka marami mag-react. I wouldn't call it censorship law. I'm sorry, Sec Edwin.
Pero kasi censorship sa MTRCB,
that
diba?
rates games wala sa Pilipinas. Only movies. Medyo archaic na yung MTRCB.
Which is good because the Senate is also going to conduct an investigation.
Senator Risa is on the right track. I think that we have to establish laws regarding this. No, we have to empower our law enforcement agencies to regulate a little bit, no, yung online platforms na.
I'm quite surprised actually, Sec Edwin, Yusek, na wala pa tayong law dito. No, not just with the games, social media in particular, di ba? And parang it's been a while, we've been talking about this in the past, di ba? And I'm really surprised na wala ba kahit na hindi pa pumapasa pero at least there's already in the pipeline.
Really, kaming dalawa ni Jeff, this is on the tech side business, so there's always a saying, the law is always a step behind technology. Actually, not just a step, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps. But talagang, they have to really update them, which is good why Senator Risa is conducting an investigation right now. So, but Professor Justine, is there an immediate psychological connection between playing a violent game with real life acts of violence?
Actually po, if we're looking on the case itself, we'll be looking on the possibilities of their previous violence experiences, specifically their developmental history. Mahalaga po kasi titignan natin yung history ng clients po natin. Hindi lang po what is their current behavior. Mahalaga po on their past. Especially if we'll be checking a specific individual, their developmental history is very important to be checked. Especially their environment. Yung access po kasi on the guns specifically, yun po ang naging main concern. So, kailangan po nating ma-address din yun. Yung bakit nagkaroon ng accessibility yung mga taong involved on that specific case. So, we need to address it. And the violence itself has an immediate psychological impact. Lalo po, hindi lang po sa mga taong involved. Especially, also, tayo po sa ating mga viewers even. Kaya po mahalaga din po yung GoreBox na ma-address at magkaroon ng bigger impact po sa atin.
I have a question for you. You play GoreBox?
No, I don't.
You're familiar with it?
I'm just familiar with it. And a lot of other violence games like Grand Theft Auto.
GTA, sir.
That one I play.
And that's also equally violent.
Yes, you're allowed to kill
game,
bystanders, for example.
My question there is, for instance, so si CICC Paraiso banned it. But if there is a real life connection, is a connection talaga, dapat mas marami tayong violente yung
Hindi
mga
lang
taong
yung-
naglalaro. But
Exactly.
parang, ikaw ba, naglalaro ka ng Grand Theft Auto?
Yes.
Do you
In
get
the past.
violent?
Pero kasi itong mga adult na sila, Yusek, no? Pero yung mga younger generation, Diba? I'm sure marami. Like my nephews, mga kakakilala ng mga
Currently playing po, no?
They're
Yes
also
po.
playing, pero these are good kids as well. Pero hindi naman sila umabot sa gano'n. As you said, no, merong may na-develop sa kanila
Yes
no,
po.
in their environment that led them to do these things.
Yes po, kasi hindi naman po talagang confirmation na pag laro ka ng violent game, you'll be also violent as well. So kailangan po more on balance lang to confirm whether it really manifests their behavior reality or virtually. Kasi magkaiba po yun eh. We need to really see if it's a virtual behavior or on a real connection po na behavior as well.
Maybe I'll jump in on that particular conversation.
Yes, ma'am.
This is not the first time that a game or music was being attributed to violent, to mass shootings.
To influence. or at least
To having influenced mass shootings. No? In the US, there was this case where a German rock band,
KMFDFM.
Yeah.
KFD, yes, that one, KDFM.
German Industrial Rock Band yan.
Na
Oo.
parang fan siya nun, and then his music daw, or their music, influenced him. Yun yung Columbine mass shooting.
And one of the 14-year-old that was wearing
A shirt.
shirt.
Right now, of the same band, no? So, but they weren't bad. I mean, di naman binand yung rock band. GTA in the past, 1990s, was also attributed to mass shooting. Kasi yung bumarel was a player of the Rockstar games, GTA, Grand Theft Auto. Hindi naman naban yung GTA. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, there is this, I understand na emotions are high. The reason why I said it's a knee-jerk reaction, and I understand where they're coming from, but maraming factors why a person can become violent. And I don't think that
Yes.
of course, I think Doc would agree,
Yes.
there is one single event in his life or her life that would contribute to such violence, including games. And remember, a lot of the e-games, the official e-games that we can be proud of kasi we have Filipino players, are also violent games. Like Counter-Strike.
Ba't di naman sila violent?
But they're not
mga
saying-
ML, diba?
But
Yung
they're not-
lagi ko naririnig.
But they're not
Jeff, may
violent.
tanong ako, no? How does government black aside? How does it stop, let's say, itong GoreBox from... Ano?
Technical.
Oh, technically, how do
They
they stop it?
order all the telcos.
Ah,
So it's
through
not
the
foolproof.
telcos.
But it's not foolproof. So they order all the telcos. But some minor ISPs, especially the one in the provinces, have their own infrastructure, so to speak. So posible na kahit nakaban, in some areas, nakikita pa din yun.
Can you, like in China, marami binaban, pero can you use VPN or a proxy network to...
Definitely, you can use VPN.
So to work around the
In fact,
ban
you
ng
can use
telcos.
proxy DNS. Kasi usually the way they block
Paki-explain
it.
mga
Oo nga,
VPN, mga
ako hindi ko naiintindihan.
Yung
Just to be
Di ba
clear
yung
lang.
parang pwedeng app na i-download mo and
Yes,
then
yes, it's an app.
Di ba you can already use it even if it's
So it's an
down?
app that actually bypasses. So, halimbawa, ito yung blocking mo, Pilipinas.
Oo.
Magka-create ka ng tunnel, let's say underground tunnel mo, para lang i-simplify natin, eliminate natin, napapunta ka ng ibang bansa, let's say US or Europe. So, from the view of the internet, you're not in the Philippines. You're in Australia, you're in Europe. So, whatever they're accessing, you can access.
Paano yung Starlink? Di ba kasi satellite yun?
Isa pa yun.
Pwede.
Pwede.
So kung may Starlink ka, pwede ka pa rin ngayon
Well, they also order Starlink to change the infrastructure to ban it. Pero kung maka-VPN ka, or proxy ang tawag namin doon, you can bypass the block. So it's not foolproof. In fact, wala namang foolproof. Even the Chinese, the Great Firewall of China, you can still use VPNs to
dapat
bypass
talaga
it.
nasa bahay yung control sa
Yes,
parents.
within the
diba?
parents po.
Alisin mo na muna yung gadgets.
More on
It's easier
manage po.
said than done, di ba?
Opo. More on management po siguro sa hours po on screen time as well. Importante rin po yun kasi if wala po kasing management when it comes to screen time, mayroon pong walang limitations for the kids, medyo lalabas po talaga yung mga violent behaviors. Pero kung mamamanage po starting from home hanggang paglabas po, magkakaroon po ng possibilities of changes.
Even if we're saying na medyo knee-jerk reaction to, but Jeff, can we discuss also some of the more violent games that are out there, no? So you just banned Roblox. I'm sorry.
GoreBox. How about the other games?
But yung mga ibang games, gacha games, Mobile Legends, tapos some of the sites like Reddit, di ba? TikTok and all that.
They are still exposed to this,
Those are not violent games
yeah.
per se games, no? But these are sites that are open to.
Ako kasi, I would redefine violence. There are games...
Hindi yan piano, ha? Hindi lang tayo.
Kasi there are violent games where you kill zombies, for example, and a lot of those, Last of Us, etc.
Yes.
There's a lot of those very, very violent games. But it is very clear that what you're killing is not a human being. Diba? There are also games where you kill beasts. And there is one game, Counter-Strike, for example, where you kill terrorists. No?
Call of Duty.
That's Call of Duty. There are humans, but they are in a very, very specific context, like you are in a war. I would still say that they should be rated R18 because there is some level of violence involved. But GoreBox is particularly different, and I would even say some Rockstar games are particularly different because they allow you to kill bystanders with no reason, no gameplay goal at all. There is no objective. There is no trophy to be had.
Yes.
Parang naglagay ka lang ng
Mga points.
ng civilians, quote and quote, and then binaril mo lang. Or inax mo, or pinalo mo ng baseball. I'm sorry for being very vivid.
Yes,
But, so they are special cases. I think these particular applications, hindi lang dapat lagay R18. Dapat ilagay na must be supervised by an adult. No? Similar to some games saying, we have blinking lights. It may trigger some of your psychological issues, problems.
May warning yan.
May warning yan mga blinking lights. Dapat may ganun na too much gore and violence.
Yes po.
I think, and if Senator Risa in her hearing is listening, I think it's about time that we should also have a rating for games. For online.
Which is why I find it weird na wala dito sa Pilipinas.
Yes.
Kasi sa EU at saka sa Amerika, may rating siya.
Meron,
yes. But Professor, you're young, no?
Yes.
So you're familiar with...
Thank you po.
In your and you play games, so what do you think are the more dangerous games kung alam mo?
Actually po, yun po, one of these, the GTA, Call of Duty, and even other people use Valorant as well. Pero hindi po kasi manifestation po talaga if you'll be playing violent games. It doesn't mean that you'll also be violent. Sabi nga po ni Ma'am kanina, may mga anak or pamangkin po ba or no, may mga individuals po playing the games, but doesn't even mean that that's their behavior. It doesn't even manifest or represent you for you as an individual. So, may mga misconception po kasi pag sinabing, naglalaro ka, ganyan ka, aggressive ka rin. So, it doesn't mean. So, kailangan po magkaroon ng clear boundary po at clear limitations na hindi po ganun ang descriptions ng individuals.
Pero tama yun, wala bang kasing subconscious na nagiging effect yan sa mga bata? Especially yung mga talagang minors. Di ba? Kasi sila, very fragile ba rin talaga yung yung mga bata eh.
Yes po.
So, and if they are not guided properly, no, it can really have, yung mindset nila can
Yes po.
can have some kind of
Negative effect.
on
Yes po,
those
kasi po
games.
yung, kasi kung titignan po natin yung mga games, di ba, yung violence po is their solution for the problem. Diba? Yung nakikita nila. So, in some cases, kung overly exposed po yung mga bata, probably, yun po ang nakikita nilang solusyon, violence. At tulad po na halimbawa, hindi po sila napagamit ng phone or ng laptop or desktop for a longer time. Iyak sila. Iyak ng iyak. So maybe that's your description of violence or even being aggressive. So,
or nagre-rebel sila.
Yes po, kasi
That's their outlet.
At the very least, that is called an aggressive behavior.
yes po, kasi po yung emotional outburst natin can be also an aggressive behavior. So yun po ang nagiging solutions nila. So nakikita nila, if they'll be aggressive in the virtual world, what if in the real world, ganun din sila. So what the possibilities ay nakikita po on the behavior minimally, pero hindi po that kind of violent. Kumbaga. So more on reaction siguro.
There is we have not yet conducted a study here in the Philippines, but abroad there have been a slew of materials which have already stated that there is no causal connection between playing violent games and real life situations. The most prominent is the Oxford Internet Institute, which found no correlation. And in fact, if I recall, the FBI threat assessment also have stated that there is no relation to that. In fact, they suggested a mix of factors there. Di ba? Parang bullying, family situation.
Yes, family po.
And if you ask me, I think the larger threat is cyberbullying. I'm not trying to digress from the discussion, but remember that in the case of Tacloban, bullying was also being factored. Yun nga lang, DOJ wanted to make it more prominent, I guess. Sabihin nila, no, it's more, we're also investigating the angle of online grooming, which is a different case altogether. So tama si Doc, no? It's not about the game. Like I said, I've been playing these games, violent games, since I was young. Pero it's more about, iba na kasi ang bullying nowadays eh. Dati kasi, Sec Edwin, pasensya na, no? Kung sasabihin ko sa public yung mga edad natin. Dati kasi ang bullying sa atin, tapos na ng alas 3, alas 4.
Hindi, kasi dati
Diba?
naman, mga Super Marios lang naman yung nilalaro natin.
pero ngayon kasi ang bullying, prevalent siya eh. Actually, persistent siya. May nag-post sa social media, alam mo ikaw yung pinapatamaan, kahit na out of 14 billion people, 15 lang kayong nakakaintindi na yung blind item na yun pertains to you.
Right.
Malaki yung psychological impact sa isang bata.
Yes po.
And tama ngayon si Doc. Ang mangyayari ngayon sa'yo, magko-collapse ka emotionally. Maglalaro ka. Kakalimutan mo yung problema. So, hindi siya root cause kung hindi manifestation siya ng larger problem.
Nagmamanifest na lang doon yung mga
Yung
frustrations,
aggression niya.
yung mga
Yes,
frustrations
naiipon
nila.
po. Kumbaga.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with the term. It's called NVE, Nihilistic Violent Extremism, which is now prevalent according to psychologists. Is that people are prone to do violent, that's a new term kasi, ginamit. In fact, si Professor Karandang in the show of Corina mentioned also NVE. No? Is that something that is more prevalent now than nung wala pang social mga video games?
Actually po, yes po, kasi their behavior is being manifest. Kumbaga tayo mga Filipinos pa kasi we really love the idea of replicating behaviors, lalo po in US references. Kaya po, if the people on the US side, for example, or Western side, for example, yung kanilang behavior is quite aggressive, we tend to replicate it as well. Kaya po nagiging non-violent extremities din po siya at some point. So we need to understand na kailangan po may limitations din on exposures as well dun sa panonood po para to understand na merong hindi lang po sa games actually eh. Hindi lang po possible baka sa napanood nila, they want to replicate it. So kailangan po may proper kasi understanding of the extremities. Kailangan when it comes to violence, kailangan merong kasamang parents, kaya po mga R18, R13, kailangan po properly guided. At saka po kahit sa mga cinemas, kailangan po hindi lumulusot yung mga ganong actions and even...
Alam mo, hindi lang yung access sa gadgets, like Edwin, sorry, pero ang bigger question for me is, paano sila nagkaroon ng access sa barel?
Yes.
Yes po. That's
Diba?
That's the
Sa
bigger
akin,
question.
yun yung bigger question if you think about it.
Accessibility po,
Diba?
no?
So talagang meron dapat maging accountable na adult dyan.
Yes po.
No, paano sila natutong gumamit ng barel? Diba? How were they able to come up with that plan?
And that's not a game, ha? It's
Yeah.
not because of the game. I don't know if the audience knows, no? But we who fire guns, the first time you fire a gun, especially at a very fragile age of 15, if you don't know how to hold the gun, after firing it 2 or 3 times, you might malamang bibitawan mo yan. No, it's heavy and it recoils. Especially they're using a 38 and a 9mm, no? So they had practice, I guess.
Yeah, it was developed
Mahinaman
pa
for
daw eh.
some time, hindi ba? Hindi sila parang na-influence lang ng game and then they decided na, what if we do this in the real world?
Yes po.
You know, my question is, if GoreBox is only one piece of the puzzle, then what really turns a child to becoming a killer? But before you answer this, the spokes will return after the short break.
The Spokes is back, still with us is former DICT USEC Jeffrey Ian Dy and Professor Justine Ray Chavez. Our hanging question earlier, if GoreBox is only one piece of the puzzle, then what really turns a child into a killer? Ang bigat niyan, ano?
Opo. Sabi niyo nga po kanina, one of the factors is accessibility po ng mga nasa paligid niya. That's one of the main concerns. And pangalawa po, if you'll be looking at the psychological side, possible po on the family exposures as well, family trauma even. Mahalaga po kasi that we can check the family concerns eh. Kasi kung titignan lang po lang natin yung angle of bullying, possible some people might say na, hindi yan nabubully kasi aggressive yan. What's some point? Possible, let's look also on the family side. Kasi po, kung one angle lang tayo, medyo unfair po for the individuals who are involved as well. So, let's look on the family side as well. Possible, experience trauma, they experience violence, kaya po ang aggressive behaviors nila, gumaganti sila outside. So, kailangan po, we need to also check that. Kaya po, may mga nade-develop din pong, as you mentioned, as killer or individuals who commit this kind of behaviors. Possible po on the replications sa mga napapanood nila. Kasi gusto nila yung, ganong behavior, hindi naman nakulong yung bata. So, ako gagawin ko yun. Kaya po, nagagaya po nila.
But is it safe to conclude na ang dami naglalaro ng games, pero tulad ngayon lang, 1 or 2 lang nagko-commit ng violent behavior.
Pwedeng isolated
so,
case
isn't
lang
that
ito?
suggest that the research has shown na talagang walang direct causal connection yan? Na walang role talaga ang violent games or
can be one of the many factors?
Yes po. I mean, one of the many factors lang po siya, not the main factor kung bakit po. Kasi kung yung games at games lang pong reference natin, di po siya sapat.
So let's specify what factors are you looking at that would contribute to a violent behavior other than just the games?
Again, number one po, possible, the games itself, the exposure, too much exposure sa games. Pangatlo po, we can also check yung mga peer environment, peer pressure, probably. Gusto po nila yung mga group of friends nila, medyo malikot, makulit at some point. Yun din po, it reflects on their behavior or mirror the behavior itself. So
Jeff mentioned about bullying. Could that be a factor?
Yes po, the possibility. Lahat po yung cyberbullying and even online harassment can also be the possibility. Simpleng posts can also reflect you or even affect your mental health as well. So, balance po dapat. Kasi yung mental health po ng mga youth these days, napaka-crucial po, very critical. So, kailangan nating tignan din yung angle po na yun.
Especially sa Pilipinas, no? We dismiss mental health.
Yeah.
Yes,
Di ba? Kapag yung anak natin naiiyak, tapos may gustong ikwento, tapos sabihin, gusto kong magpa-check sa psychologist or I want, someone to guide me. Parang the parents would dismiss, hindi, ano mo lang yan.
Because I remember during your generation, it's the tendency is to suck it up. Di ba?
Correct.
To suck it up. So, parang you just grin and bear it. Di ba? But,
that could be a root cause also.
Tsaka could be nakakahiya rin for the parents to admit kaya walang acceptance, di ba?
Yes po.
Na somehow they failed.
Yes po.
I'm sure this kid, and I'll still call him a kid, kasi 15 years old and 14 years old. These kids, they would have manifested certain, how would you say it, symptoms?
Yeah, symptoms.
I think they would have manifested something before this happened.
There were warning signs.
There would be warning signs. And yun lang, we chose, not only the parents, but the teachers, the entire environment, the uncles, the neighbors, the friends, chose to ignore it. Imposible kasi na you snap and then the next day you pick up a gun and then you fire it back at your classmates. I don't believe that. I don't believe that there is such a person so intrinsically evil na hindi siya na-trigger. And psychologically, before all of this, before the pretexting, there is a trigger. There is a point where you snap. And it's not overnight.
So you were talking about these warning signs, diba? What are these warning signs that we have to look out for if we are the teacher or the parents or the guardians of this child?
Actually po, number one, kapag nagkaroon na po ng isolation yung bata, lumalayo na, kumbaga. Tapos kung nakita po natin yung from madaldal to less calm, mas hindi na siya, kumbaga po tumahimik siya at some point. Kasi mas alarming po yung, mas nakakatakot po yung taong tahimik. Kasi if the individual is to be quiet at some point na longer, for example...
Paano kung talaga introvert lang yung bata?
Possible po. Kung introvert talaga originally po, wala po tayong problem. Pero kung biglang sudden, nag-shift po agad ng behavior, that's a possibility po na pwede natin tingnan ng angle. Kasi po, yung isolation can be one of the main concerns. Lalo po, if that is their escape, brought by the bullying, brought by the harassment, yun po ang naging escape nila. Possible yun po ang main cause. I mean, possible results ng nangyari po sa kanila even. So, kailangan po tingnan natin. And also, yung performance even sa school, pansin po natin, medyo nagde-degrade, bumababa na po ang performance nila way back then, mas improved sila, ngayon bumababa. Yung mga ganong angle po. And even yung way that they do engage with their parents as well, kung paano po sila sumagot, possible po. Let's also check that. Kasi kung angle at school lang pong reference natin, it will be unfair. Sabi nga po ni Sir, maraming hindi po siya overnight. Possible to experience trauma way back then. Kaya po ngayon, ang goal nila is to get gaganti sila or to be aggressive at some point.
That's on the part of the school, no?
Yes,
the characteristics that you're mentioning, symptoms are that a teacher may discover. But ano naman ang symptoms pagdating sa bahay? So for a parent to be conscious na there's something going on with my son.
Pananamit ba nila? Kasama rin ba yan?
What would be the symptoms also?
Actually po kung sa bahay naman po, if you're looking at the house side, possible po kung parati na po nag-stay sa room, sa kwarto na matagal, tapos hindi na po nakakasama sa pagkain at some point. Kasi po, that's already starting isolation also at home. Kumbaga, nag-isolate po sa school, and then sa bahay, ganun din. Possible, nag-replicates po. Parehas na rin po ang kanilang manifestation. Even yung paano po sumagot, nagiging aggressive na rin sila, and For example, dati po, maayos naman ang usap niya ngayon, pabalang na sumagot, yung mga ganyan pong behaviors.
So, paano ang intervention ng isang magulang or ng isang guro or guidance counselor pag nakikita gano'n ang nangyayari?
Actually po, in the study of psychology, meron ba kami tinatawag na psychological first aid, kung tawagin. Actually po, yung psychological first aid, rooted din po sa Tacloban. Yung treatment po na yun, ang term po ay meron pong procedure, look, listen, and link.
LLL?
LLL po, 3 Ls kumbaga po. Wherein, yung before kasi nung dumating po yung Yolanda, di ba marami pong individuals who being involved na matay at some point. Ngayon po, may mga psychologists, psychometricians, and even doctors po pumunta sa Tacloban to do the psychological first aid. Looking for the families po na may namatay na family, tas sila na lang mag-isa, committing to do suicide. Kaya po, yung look, listen, and link, first one, look in their physical behaviors. Kung tignan niyo po yung mukha nila, even kung may mga twitching na po ng mukha, may mga possibilities po, even nagpa-panic attacks ba sila at some point. Listen to their behaviors, listen to their concerns, and link them to the authorities. Look, listen, and link. Kumbaga po, simpleng proseso lang siya, pero mahirap po.
I'll add something kay Doc.
Sige po.
And this is what investigators, I'm sure the investigators are doing right now. No? So we have open source intelligence, which we usually do. What I think they will be doing right now is also check every conversation that they had in the cell phones, every post that they did in social media, every game that they played. And I think this is where ang beauty naman ng present world wala dati. No? Dati kasi pinagsara ka ng pinto tapos na. Ngayon, as parents, I think, we should also monitor changes in behavior also in social media.
Right.
A person has been posting, sabi nyo, di ba, change in behavior?
Yes, po.
A person has been posting like twice a week, now seldom posts. A person usually posts something beautiful or happy. Now parang may rage na.
Yes.
Those subtle changes, even the games they play. This person might be playing Roblox, Minecraft, and then suddenly shifted to GoreBox.
Yes, po.
At tapos mapapansin mo, parang may kausap siya. No, may kausap siya sa Discord. May kausap siya sa mga chat na iba na yung conversations. Then I think if we are, like I said, hindi yan overnight eh. These are part of those changes in behavior. Pero online behavior naman yung i-focus ko. Na mapapansin mo.
I just wanted to, tama, Jeff, yung let's say, na-notice na lahat, and you mentioned look, listen, and link.
Link, yes po.
But the weak link there is the link because our government people may not be
Yes,
equipped
po. That's the problem, actually.
handle a situation like that.
Or may not be enough.
The
Yes, po.
two factors are controllable within the family or within the school, but when you link it to someone, who do you link it to?
Actually po, yun ang medyo frustrating po sa atin, sa sistema po. So we need to actually mas strengthen pa po actually yung mental health programs.
So you're confirming that we
Yes,
do
po.
not have enough guidance
Yes, po.
counselor,
Yes, po.
capable guidance
Nga
counselor.
po, actually po mas maganda kung mahirapan po sa linking, you can link on the school naman. You can report to the school, kahit yung guidance po mismo.
Or paano sa parents?
Mag-allow ng hotline
Yes,
so
po.
that even children can call.
Tsaka hindi
Safely.
na siguro
Do we have a
children
hotline now? Do
Hindi
we
na
have a
siguro
hotline?
children, parents as
Parents
well.
also.
Yes po.
Kasi kailangan yung mga parents equipped din sila on how to manage the
Yes po,
children.
po.
Eh.
So, it's really a
Yes.
But from
Maraming factors po
a tech
Apo.
side,
Yeah.
how does government create a comprehensive child online safety framework? Yan ang sinasabi mo kanina,
Correct.
notice
Yeah.
na, no?
So, number one, we should have laws on classification. Games, hindi
That's
lang
number one.
That's number one.
Yung
Not
rating.
not only for movies, but kasama dapat movies, but also for games. Number two, there should be I believe in the restriction on what do you call that? Screen time for children, especially. No? And I think this one is proven. So violent games and their correlation with violence is not proven. But what is proven is the attention span of children and their academic abilities generally decline with more screen time with more screen time. So I think we have to control that. Number three, there should be a policy where we can enforce these things. Ito na yung blocking.
Let's
no?
talk about the number one, ratings.
Ratings.
Unlike the movies, may gatekeeper ka ticket. No, edad mo.
MTRCB.
Kita mo. Sa sinihan, bigyan ticket sa'yo. Ay, wala to, hindi to mukhang 18 eh. What's the gatekeeper?
Ang tulad ng sabi nyo, basta sinabi niyang 18 siya, go. Walang
So
verification.
yun yung 13. So maglalagay ka ngayon ng enforcement. The enforcement could be ito na.
IDs.
Wala tayong law to block eh. If you are non-compliant to these mandatory rules, edi we can block you. Let's say, dapat nakasulat yun. We'll block you for 5 days or until such time that you can comply. And then we'll have rules like maybe in the IRR say there should be a biometric, technology is already
Yes, I think Roblox does that. Na parang nagpapakita ng mukha mo.
Papakita mo yung mukha mo. And Facebook has that.
Yes.
Biometric checking of age. Yung nga lang baka si Ma'am Relly baka ma-mistake na 16 years old.
Salamat. Well, totoo yun. I think yun yung pinakamahirap. Pero sabi mo nga, Yusek, ang dami naman kasing mga technology na nabago, yung Sec Edwin that we can also use. I think sa akin din ang bottom line is, kailangan bigyan mo talaga ng oras yung mga anak mo if you're a parent, di ba? And how do we equip the parents? It all starts from the home, eh.
Right.
Di ba? Before it even goes to the school or the outside environment, sa bahay muna. So how do we equip them? How do we block them from,
So,
I mean,
that's a
how
good
do we
point,
know,
no?
how do we tell the parents that these are the sites that are not good for your children?
So another intervention we can do is that there should be, for all telecommunications devices, ito Sec Edwin, this could be a suggestion to the ICT and whoever will lead the ICT in the next 10 to 15 years.
Future the ICT secretary.
In the next 10 to 15 years. I think there should also be regulation where every device that we deploy in the home should have parental control.
But it's already
Meron
there,
na yun, di ba?
Pero it's not mandatory
It's
kasi.
mandatory.
So maraming ISP wala.
Okay.
So ESP, LDT offers it, to a certain extent Globo offers it. But if it becomes mandatory, then we train parents also to, block these particular, di ba? Pag ganitong oras, bawal
So
yung social media.
you're shifting a lot to parental supervision na talaga.
Yes. And even the Constitution recognizes that the family is very important at the building of this nation.
Tsaka siguro pwede nating tingnan din on the government side, no, not just with the technology. Yung values formation, minsan palagay ko nakakalimutan na rin natin to sa eskwelahan. Baka kailangan idagdag natin yun sa curriculum. Diba? Parang yun, wala na yata yun ngayon sa
Actually
school.
po, kailangan ma-improve din po for both the kids and also the parents, yung mental health and digital literacy po. Importante po kasi yung knowledge about the terms even. Kasi po kapag hindi nyo nagigets yung terms po ng mga bata, hindi po talaga magkakaintindihan yung different generations. So kailangan po, there's a proper, even the school siguro po can start doing those kind of program. Mga school, homeschool type of home and school-based program to understand the mental health and digital programs as well. So more on yan.
Can that be required by DepEd sa mga parent-teachers association?
Sa likod dapat magkaroon din po, lalo po ngayon, yung since ang parents naman po talaga nagbabayad ng tuition ng bata. Sana po ang parents also have the access doon sa mga LMS ng mga bata. Since at least to double check po yung mga safety ng mga nakakausap nila, even. Ganun po.
Alam mo, Justin, itong nangyari sa Tacloban, based on the text messages nila, we saw that mukhang planado talaga to. In fact, they know how to, yung sa juvenile justice law, talagang alam nila na hindi ka masasabit and all that. From a psychological perspective, what does that tell you, itong dalawang batang ito nagpaplano? Do they have, mukhang may discernment sila. And how do you analyze this is all planned?
Actually po, on doon sa...
apparently, wala silang remorse.
Or is there somebody who influenced them also, whether online or within their environment?
Actually, I'm looking at the side of influence po. Malaking factor po kasi. Kung hindi po kasi at the age of 14, 15, before po, ang problema lang ng 14, 15, ano pong baon sa school. Ngayon, ang problema ng mga bata po ngayon, what they'll be posting, ano pong aggressive behaviors they'll be doing. Doon po sa angle na pagplanuhan, probably po hindi lang po siya nangyari kasi overnight eh. Proseso po yan. Possible, na-check din po nila yung location, saan po sila dadaan, mga ganyan po. So, possible po, merong mga possibility na merong disorder na pwede nating tignan na symptoms. Possible pa yung mga disinhibited behavior na kailangan po ma-address. Kasi yung behaviors po natin ngayon, yung mga bata po kasi ngayon, they're not actually weak. They're quite sensitive. Kaya po, yung aggressive behaviors nila, yun ang nagiging actions po nila. Yun ang nagiging results ng kanilang panonood, exposure sa mga classmates, and even peer pressure, even peer environment po that causes them to do those acts. Kaya po yung mga messages na yun, possible, mahabang proseso po, hindi lang po again overnight, nangyari yun. So, possible weeks, months, or even taon bago po. And even yung mga videos po stimulating na yung isang bata po doing training. So, it's quite alarming po ng edad po of 14, 15 doing those activities. Kailangan po, doon pa lang sa training, alam na dapat po na nag-train na hindi pa siya pwede sa edad po na yun. So,
sige, magtanong ka na ng tough question na.
Okay, so Yusek, Professor Justine, should we lower the age of criminal liability for children from 15 to 12 or 10 maybe? Kasi 10 ang isang proposal. What's your
I'm not a psychologist, so I can't answer that. Ako, I think I'm only answering it based dun sa exposure ko sa government. I think that most cases involving 15 already has a particular level of discernment, no? Especially when we're doing cyber cases with the NBI in the past. So I think 15 might be, for criminals, I think we need to lower it. What I don't know is what's that sweet spot, no? Kasi walang consensus, walang international consensus. But there is an international consensus that 16 and 15 usually acts with discernment. So it should be lower than that.
Ako on my end po, it's more on yes, but with limitations po. Yes, we can lower the age of criminal liability, but some point po sana magsimula sa school na magkaroon po ng mental health-based program para po sa mga bata. Kasi po, hindi po magiging ganun ka-aggressive ang mga bata kung meron pong proper interventions. Kung magkakaroon po ng within from home and even the school interventions, hindi po magkakaroon ng ganun. Kung na-check po sila.
Mabilis lang na follow-up question lang to because on the neuroscience development, our prefrontal cortex, which is found behind our forehead, determines your impulse, your decision-making, risk assessment.
Yes, po.
For a child under 12 or 15, obviously may discernment, but they don't necessarily know the processes, the consequences of their act, unlike an adult. That's why there is an argument na perhaps we should not lower it kasi you lowering it does not encourage you to reform kasi it only, in fact, studies showed it contributes to more recidivism. So, but that's something that maybe our scientists should or psychologists should also take a look.
Discuss with them.
My next tough question. If a parent knowingly allows a child to spend hours, like you were saying, on violent online platforms, should the parent share legal responsibility if the child later commits a serious crime?
Yes. Ako, unilateral ang answer ko. The answer is yes.
Yeah.
There should, I'm not saying they share in the electric chair, for example, but they should be held certain level of accountability and liability for it.
Yes po, on my end din po, it's also yes. Kailangan po kasi kung legal side po, kailangan there's also an accountability. Kasi po yung yes ng bata, still have no powers pa rin po. By the age of 14, 15, 16, even 17. Minsan wala pa pong powers yan. Kailangan po, ang parents also have the responsibility.
Also, legally, they're the guardians, di ba?
Yes,
they're the guardians.
Tsaka Edwin, the reason why it's very easy is, what happens in your school if somebody pokes a classmate with a pencil? In kindergarten or grade 1?
Yeah.
The parents are called. And their guidance counselor asks for intervention, both for the kids and the parents. So the same should apply in law.
Okay.
Wow. Very good discussion. Thank you so much. Kulang na kulang. DICT Undersecretary Jeffrey D. Always a pleasure. And of course, thank you, Professor Justine Ray Chavez.
Salamat po. Thank you po.
Technology can connect, inform, and empower. But without responsibility, it can also expose young minds to real dangers.
Protecting our children requires more than banning an APR. It demands vigilant parents, responsible platforms, stronger policies, and a society that acts before the next tragedy. Sorry. So I'm former Secretary Relly Fajardo.
I'm Secretary Edwin Lacierda, and we are
the spokes.